Test, test, 1, 2. I have an excellent connection. Here we are. We here? We here? We here? Are we here? Here, 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 here. I can't hear me. Test, 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 test. Fly like an eagle. Here. I can't hear you. Yeah, I'm an idiot. There's a mute button if you never knew. Right there. Right there. So, why am I in dark mode? I don't want to be in dark mode. Oh, I hope there's nothing incriminating. Hope y'all doing alright out there. Get started in just a second. I got some techie issues going on here. Won't be able to see my chat. See, my idiot self did a few things. In that I have one monitor now and it's hard to deal with. So am I live? Flight configurator. Got some scenes going. Alright, we got our flights. What's this? There we go. Heavy freestyle. Didn't really want to do that. Got configurator. There we go. Sweet. No, not sweet. That's not what I want. Astro, what's going on? Hey, you were talking about Emuflight, right? You better be. Because I got it. Hope you're doing alright tonight. Let me know if you're out there. Cool, yeah. So I did get Emuflight. They just did the beta release. Emuflight official beta release. It's available here. It took 30 minutes to install this program. Like it took a bit. Oh, don't want that. It took a bit, but it installed. And it's here. And I'm not saying I like it, but I like it. It works great. Actually, it's not even that it works great. It's so different. So yeah, they made it easier if you haven't done it yet. This is for anyone in the future who ends up watching this. This is Emuflight, which is downloaded from this link, which I'll pasta in chat. Bam, right there. All you have to do is download the configurator, and it works just like Betaflight's configurator. And yeah, so I'm using the Windows version, Win32. I didn't think to use 64. No, I did. Which one did I do? I did 32. Well, anyway, I did 32, and maybe that's why it took forever. Oh, wait, no. Oh, there's a Chrome one. Dang it. Emu's been flying. Yeah, me too. I got some questions for you in a minute, Astro. Let me get through this part. But anyway, download the exe, or you can do the Chrome OS, which is what I'm going to do in the future. That's much easier. I like the Chrome versions better. They're much, much faster. And if you install the exe from here, just select like any other executable. Next. Just select your folder and install. It will take a while because it does an integrity check at the end that's about 15 minutes. And once you get there, bam, you're an Emuflight. And if you're using a Betaflight copter, it will tell you so. So you just plug in. Right now I'm using the T-Rose69, which I thought I did. I was happy with it when I got it because it's only 69 bucks and 74, $80 total with a battery that I got because I got a cheap battery. And I thought I was happy with it, but not ecstatic with it. And then I flew it some more, and I'm way beyond ecstatic with it. Like it's really good. Like it's real good, really, really good. Now, right now I have a hiccup. I made a mistake the first time I flashed here. Let's go update. I'm not going to reflash this thing because it's a pain. But I made a mistake. I have a Maytag F411, and I used a Mamba F411. So I could not figure out why I lost my ESC. It was one ESC that wouldn't work. My motor 1 wouldn't work. And I couldn't arm. and everything else worked fine except one motor. And I thought, crap, I blew my ESC because it's the Tyro 69. You know, I was like, crap, I hope I didn't get a bad model. And then I realized when I was looking it back over, oh, nice. I will check that out. The twig frame and the 3018. I had 2535s and they're pretty good, but the top end on them, I don't think they're balanced very well. So I went back to the bi-blades and they're great. But anyway, going on, I did Maytag 411 load firmware. It tells you this is exactly like Betaflight. Like I'm really happy with it. If you can read, if you can see it, it'll tell you your IDK. That's the new thing. GPS has been updated, TPA split, lots of bug fixes, blah, blah, blah. This is still beta, so if you don't know what I'm doing here, don't do it. Basically, like I say, I used the Tyro 69 for this because I was not sure how it was going to go. Absolutely unsure how it was going to go, so I used the least expensive quad I have. Cool. 3018. I do like the bi-blades. They're like 0.5G. So anyway, you load, you flash, it does the normal, and then you connect, and you're treated to this window. And the first thing I always like to do is make sure my orientation is correct for my flight control board, and it is. The second thing I like to do is find a flat surface. This is not a flat surface, because I have a battery strap, so it's very hard for me to find one without using a cup. So I end up using a cup, preferably without water in it. I end up using a cup to create a flat surface. If you've never done this, basically it just lets your frame sit on the cup rim, and that way your battery's out of the way, your strap's out of the way. Set it on a flat surface, you can tell I'm off slightly, calibrate. And trust me, if you don't calibrate accelerometers, wow, it's taking forever. Calibrate. If you don't calibrate accelerometers, you will get some of the weirdest issues you've ever seen. Some of those yaw twitches you can't tune out. Some of the drift you can't tune out. Some of the just stuff. Calibrate your accelerometer. It will make a world of difference. I will guarantee that. Especially if you haven't done it in a while or if you have a bad crash. So we're going to ports. Mine. This one doesn't have TBS Smart Audio or anything like that, but I put it in. UART2 is where I connected my receiver, so I turned that on. Save and reboot, going back up. You'll reconnect and configuration. Now I have props reversed on these toothpick frames. I can tell you from experience here, reverse props are better for one simple reason, and it's that toothpicks get stuck in trees if a breeze blows. So there's no weight to pull them out. A leaf can catch an entire toothpick. You're talking about 50 to 75 grams for a toothpick. Cool, thanks, Astro. 50 to 75 grams per toothpick, and it just won't pull itself free. So if you do props out, you have a better chance of the props kicking you out of the tree if you run straight in. And I've run straight into a couple of trees. So I use D-Shot 600 because I tell you, one shot 125, I don't even know why one shots are even around anymore. I despise how they feel. They are good if you're troubleshooting ESCs because it's just good, but it's very stable. I think that's the only reason why. I don't know why anybody uses anything other than one of the D-Shots. I would love to use Pro Shot, but I use D-Shot 600 on this Tyro. And I did not have to change my board range. I don't have 32K. Not even trying it. I am using 8K, 4K. Mainly because that's what it was. And I have never... I'll be honest, I can't tell a difference between 8K, 8K, and 8K, 4K. I just can't. So I try to keep my CPU load down. And I know with some of the quads I've had, 8K, 8K just doesn't work as well. So it ends up being twitchy, or it ends up being like my motors get warmer or something. It's great if you're, on some, but my 5 inches all run 8K, 8K, and they have no problems. But the smaller ones, like 3 inch and under, I do 8K, 4K. I do leave the accelerometer on mainly because I like to know how many G's I pull. for acceleration. I like that. It's fun. Arming 180 will allow you to arm at any angle if your accelerometer's on. If you turn it off, arming goes away. So that's just something to know. RSSI, this is so you can get your RSSI in your OSD, and it's an analog version. It's not really the true RSSI from what I understand. It's not like a telemetry version, but it's from the flight controller through ADC. And it will tell you. So if you enable that, you'll be able to see RSSI. And for some of these small ones that have the questionable receivers, like the SPX receiver, SPI bus receiver, whatever it's called, SPIRX, yeah. If you have one of those, you want to keep tabs on your RSSI because you might fly into a place and then suddenly fail safe. You might not know why. I do not use 3D mode. I want to fly 3D. Actually, a twig would be where I would start. So if you were going to fly 3D, you'd have to do this and you'd have to set your ESCs. Don't have a GPS. I'm skipping over to other features, which I skipped over receiver. Make sure you choose your receiver. I use serial base and I'm iBus. Personalization, you can type in your craft name if you want. I don't. This is if you do FPV camera control, which is where you pretty much fly by yaw. So if you have like a 30-degree camera, you can use your yaw and it will coordinate the rolls for you, the rolls and turns. So you don't have to do coordinated rolls by yourself. I don't like it anymore. I used to. If you want really smooth footage, I have found if you set this to half of your actual camera, you'll get a good bit of lean in, a good bit of the lean, so it looks a little bit more natural, but it just feels weird after a while. And yeah, that's a lot of fun. If you just joined us, say hi. I keep saying my concurrent users go up. We're just starting off fast. It's basically, this is Emuflight. I'm just running through a setup for a Tiro 69. And I haven't got it perfectly tuned yet, but I'll show you a flight in a minute on what I'd had with this. It was actually my 4th flight with it. My first flight was good, but my 4th was amazing. I had so much fun. So anyway, it's Maytech F411 flight, and we're just running through settings. Telemetry output, I don't even know if this is being used or not, but it came enabled, and I never disabled it. So it doesn't hurt anything if you have it. Soft serial you will need, air mode, OSD, anti-grav, and dynamic. Leave those on. And going down, I always turn on RX lost and RX set, except this time I was having problems with my ESC and it was from flashing the wrong board, so I don't have it set. I'm going to go ahead and set that. And I leave beepers on for all of these, but it's not necessary. So if you ever get tired of beepers, you can just turn all these off or figure out which ones you want to use. That's if you have a beeper. The Tiro does not come with one stock, but you can add one. If you do the D-Shot beacon, and that's only if you have D-Shot, you can use your bell housing as a beeper, and it will make your motors vibrate and make a sound. So if you lose it in that tree that I was talking about earlier, blah blam, that's where you pick it back up. Pretty cool. Save and reboot. All right, back to Emuflight. Power battery, blah blah blah. Going down, I always recheck the settings because sometimes this is beta software. Don't forget, this is definitely beta software, and trust me, it's beta. Always double check that you did something. Now, one thing I didn't do earlier, and it was hilarious, and I'll have to laugh about it. I have my motors reversed, my props reversed, and I did not select this. Fortunately, this is a twig frame, or a 50 gram plus battery quad that doesn't have mucho power. And whenever I armed with this button off and I had the props on backwards, it spun out and it scared the crap out of me. But fortunately, it is a very small quad, so it doesn't have that much power to flip out like a normal quad would. I would say if I did this with a GTR 349, I would probably have a dent in my house. And I'm not kidding. So make sure your prop motor direction is exactly what it should be. I will say with Emuflight, if you don't know this, at least default, the anti-runaway protection, the runaway protection that I've loved for many iterations of Betaflight, it is not active by default. So this actually got into the air and flew a good bit because I did not reverse my prop. So don't make that mistake. Make sure your motor order is in the correct direction. Trust me on this. Don't do what I do and screw yourself up. It will suck. Trust me. And if I'd had a more powerful quad, today would have been a bad day. But like I said, it's beta software. I'm using my cheapest, smallest, lightest quad to minimize risk. And if you don't feel like doing that, don't do it. I'm not kidding. Some of these things are just, you're talking about spinning knives, so please don't do something stupid. For instance, right now, I am breaking cardinal rule. Oh, shoot. I'm breaking a cardinal rule in that I have a USB plugged into a quad with props on. But I'm not breaking the other rule that I don't have a battery with me. So, yeah. If I had a battery on, props are off. And that's my general rule for being on the bench. One plug at a time, props off if you have two. That's Rotor Riot's rule, but it's my rule for at least 3 years because I've been cut and it hurts. So, that's my safety information. You can fast forward through it if you know everything and you're not afraid of losing an eye. Power battery. By default, by the way, expert mode is not enabled. I forgot to go over that. So make sure you enable expert mode and going to power battery. I have never figured out what the T-Row amperage meter is reading because it is so far off. It's not 400 and it's not 9,000 and it's not, I don't know. But you do want to turn your warning cell voltage on these toothpicks down a bit. Or at least I do. It's all up to you, trust me. But 3.4 allows me to land and the battery recover to about the 3.7 range, which is where I like to keep my batteries. So that's just due to the fact I fly 2S and 3.4 is where voltage sag normally gets down and will pop right back to 3S or 3.7 volts. And that for me has allowed me to use the same batteries for 2 years now. With this toothpick, I'm using the cheapest freaking 2S batteries I have. They were $3 each. And they were from GearBest. And I don't recommend them on any other quad. But with a toothpick, they're very light. They're low milliamp hours. It says 400, but it lies. It's probably like a 350, 370-ish area from whenever I'm charging it. That's where it seems to want to top out. So it's not a 400. And it's a lot lighter than any 400 battery. So anyway, going on. Failsafe. Stage 1. These are defaults, and you do want stage 1 failsafe activation if you do switch. Oh wow. Yeah. Stage 1, stage 2, kill. Actually, you want stage 2 if you want it to kick off. But my stage 2 is where I worry about. And that's if you lose control, or you get RSSI goes too low, or you lose your receiver connection. It'll just drop out of the sky. So you want it to be dropped. You don't want to try to land. I don't know what happens if you try to land, but you just want to drop out. And with the twig, I haven't damaged. I've damaged one prop. I take that back. I ran into the concrete straight full power. It sucked. But I half bent a prop. I hadn't even bent a prop. I haven't even knocked a battery off these things yet. So anyway, moving on. If you have any questions, if you're in chat and watching, just listening, please chime in. I'm here. I'm just running through my settings really fast. Just trying, because Emuflight, I was impressed, I will tell you. And I've got some flights coming up in just a minute. And just show you those. These PIDs are default. I didn't change any of them. I'm not saying they're good because there's some oscillations at the top end when I was using quad blades, and I still get some prop wash and some weird stuff going on. These aren't the best PIDs. What I did love and I'll show you what it looks like in OSD. You have feed forward transition, which is really good in Betaflight, but you want to turn it off here if you use their Emu Boost and Emu Limit. Emu Boost you can kick up. Actually, let's just, I'm sorry, we're going to go start back up at the top here. These are rates. This is just like Betaflight. You have proportional and integral derivative feed forward RC rates. I have my feed forward at 0 because this is Emuflight, and this is one of the things they have that is supposed to be better or a little bit more researched. RC rate and super rates, they work just like Betaflight. This is my max velocity. That's been the case for at least 2 years now. I love high twitchy quads. I love it like this. It's just so much easier for me to fly. I have no idea why there is actually a derivative on yaw, but that might be an Emuflight thing. It's normally D is 0, but it's 5, and it doesn't cause any issues. Feed forward transition, I use 0 because it's recommended, but this is where it's the twitchiness. So if you're at 0 and you have some feed forward, you can make it react faster. I normally do not fly with feed forward when I use Betaflight, and so I left it off here just because of that. I don't normally like it. I like my sticks to be very consistent, but we'll get to that in a second. Acro trainer limit, that's if you use Acro trainer, and if you're here, I highly doubt you're using that unless you're just trying to show it to your brother or sister and you don't want them to flip out and plow your quad into the ground. It's not a bad thing. I like it, it's fun, but it's just, yeah, it's alright. Throttle Boost 5, that works just like Betaflight. It gives you a little boost whenever you're going low throttles, whenever you're coming out of turns and whatnot, and you jack the throttle up. It'll keep you, especially with these 2S quads, I always keep a good bit of throttle boost between about 3 and 10, depending on the motors, and that keeps me from crashing into the ground. It does make a difference, I will say. It'll also not hurt your battery, but you'll lose flight time with this if you do a lot of off and on, because you'll think you're barely blipping the throttle and it's actually giving a lot more throttle than you need, or than you think you're giving. So your battery actually does take a pounding from it. Absolute control, not something I use. IDK. Now this one is Emuflight exclusive, and it says it removes excessive I-term accumulation normally found at the end of quick stick movements. Running higher allows you to run higher I-term without bounce backs or other common negatives. Default's 4, highest is 10. I use 7 for this twig. Little T-row, I use 7, and I loved it because I do a lot of flippity-dippity turns, and it didn't bounce at all. Like, that was amazing. Holy cow. I use 7. If I had a more powerful quad, I probably wouldn't use 7. I'd probably use default of 4. Emu Boost is another like feed forward. This one is interesting because it's a nonlinear boost as seen by your P and I term, adds a different feeling to the sticks. I didn't realize how much it felt, but it was amazing. They're too high will cause oscillations, lower power to weight. Seem quite happy with the higher amounts. I kept it at 50, and it goes all the way to like 1,000. So if you have like a tiny whoop, you might want to try this up. I kept it at 50 because I wasn't sure how it was going to feel. And I will say, whenever you're doing the little flippity dippity moves, it makes a huge difference. Huge difference. I also put an Emu Boost Limit, and that's how much it's allowed to boost your error. And by the way, your error is actually your input. They call it errors because this is 0, and anything outside of 0 is an error. So anytime you see error, that's actually your input. And it's measured as percentage of total error that Emu Boost is allowed to add. High Emu Boost with a low limit can give you a snappy feeling near the center, and it's all preference. That high-low feeling, that would mean that you would not want to have a high boost with low if you're trying to do the smooth Ladrib style, the flowy types. You don't want that. I personally, I don't have enough room to do flowy stuff. So I love my backyard. I like flying in there now, and I like the whippity round stuff. It's so much, to me, that's just fun. So I set it up a little bit. I'm going to keep playing with this one, but I set it 50. It tops out at 30. it made a huge difference when you do those snappy maneuvers because it just powered those motors right on, and it was great. But that's a preference. So after that, you do have anti-gravity. I thought I set my gain to 8, but I didn't. So I'm setting it to 8. I didn't notice anything though. So 8 or 1, maybe I didn't need it at 8. I always set it to 8 because I like that. Basically rams your eye term up when you do stay at full throttle, and it takes away some of those dips and bobbles that you have. And honestly, like, the only time I've ever had it make a difference was on a cheaper, not so great flight controller that I don't use anymore. And yeah, so anyway, TPAP, they separated TPA, PI, and D. So now you have 3 separate values. I'm going to be honest, I left them default. I haven't played with them. All I know, I have quad blade 25-35 props, and changing these in Betaflight made them fly a little bit better. These are not the best for some of those quad blades on this particular quad. You have to play with these. Fortunately, they give you all 3 values to play with and not just one. And it has a breakpoint, so that's totally fine. What you don't have here that you have in Betaflight 4 is a throttle limit. So you do have your midpoint, and you have expo if you want expo, which will curve it so you can have that smoother. I have never used throttle curve in my life because I don't think a midpoint of my throttle should be curvy. I'm like 25, 50, 75, 100. It's either on or off. That's my flight style. Trust, it's not for everybody. I do not. Yeah, don't listen to me for that. But anyway, if you do like smoother inputs on throttle, I don't know if the throttle expo is something many people use. I do know regular expo up here's your RC expo, that will change your flight curve, and that a lot of people use because they like it smoother near the center. If you like smooth near the center like this, you probably are not going to like Emu Boost as much, or you might actually be able to combine the two and find something that's better than what you're currently doing in Betaflight. However, I like for my sticks to be fairly twitchy, so if I go all the way to the outside, it's flipping. That's just how it works. That's personal preference. Like I say, these are your stock PIDs that it comes with. I have not changed these, if at all, I believe. Especially your eye there. These seem a little out of whack for a twig, but they flew very well. So I'll probably play with these a lot. Going over to filter settings. These again are stock. Now I don't know if this is something that's working right now. Higher value, more trust, less filtering, and Carmen filter. Oh, yeah, it doesn't have the help message in there. Ha, that's funny. Developers, the help message is not in your IMU settings, F filter settings. You're missing a help message. This is just like Betaflight, your D-term low pass, and it's 2 variants, static variant, blah blah blah. If you don't know, Emuflight is based off of Betaflight 3.5.5, I believe, or 3.5, maybe not 3.5.5, but 3.5, and it's just the updated whenever people wanting the Kalman filters and the 8 or 32K gyros. It went to Butterflight, now it's at Emuflight. D-term low pass cutoff, these are stock. Did not change them. My motors came down, very cool. I actually don't know why, because they have been coming down warmer than this. This is stock. I don't know if it's better to run dynamic filters yet, or if it's better to run gyro low pass. So I can't help very much in here other than to say, if you have a toothpick, you're probably going to be okay with these. Check your motors for noise. Check your sound. You know what to look for. It's sound, it's heat. Does it fly right? Does it twitch? Does it do something wrong? Some of these filters might not. So, yeah. I do want to give a shout out to the Discord. There is an Emuflight Discord, and they are very helpful, I have to say. So thanks, Astro. Going on to receiver tab. This is just like Betaflight, except I like filter. I don't know why that wasn't turned on. I didn't even notice it, so I do notice this if RC smoothing is not turned on in Betaflight. I notice it. I didn't notice here, and I think that's because it was a lot twitchier anyway, so sensitive, not twitchy. So this, I would actually enable filtering as a default. And RSSI channel, I'm using iBus, so I don't do it. Channel map, AET, or wow, oh yeah, AETR1234 is your iBus setting. It's also your default, and then you just select if you have FreeSky or Spectrum. Going through preview, yaw, deadband, yada yada. I leave these all stock. RD, what's going on? We're walking through Emuflight. If you want to try something new, I'm not saying you should. I would never say someone should try it. It's going very well. I did like the Emuflight though. So yeah, if you are joining in chat, thank you very much for joining. This is just a walkthrough of Emuflight, and I have some flight demos of Emu versus Betaflight 4.1 or 4.0, 4.0, 4.1, one of the two. And how does it work? What is it? Sorry, we're taking a slight pause. Oh no, that's cool. I like that frame. I actually ordered one earlier. I think you recommended it. Someone did. I've got that coming. So the Racer X frame, that's going to be my new Twig frame. So anyway, getting back to it. How does it work? It's basically an offshoot of Butterflight, which is now dead. Butterflight hit the peak of what they wanted to do, which keep that 32K. And Emuflight is now a whole new set of developers. They're just continuing from there. And their main focus appears to be stick feel and filtering. Yeah, they're doing a good job at it, so I gotta give them credit there. I'm gonna save that. I did want RC smoothing. Back into running through modes. It's the same modes you get in 3.5 version. So you have angle, horizon, head free, failsafe. If you ever want failsafe and you want to drop out of the sky, just add a button for it. And I used to use channel 4, but then I thought, why don't I just disarm? So I don't know if arm is different from failsafing. I don't know. And angle is if you want to do self-leveling. Horizon lets you do rolls and flips. Head free is not something you do in FPV unless you want to get really disoriented. You'll end up crashing, but that's where the front of the quad is directly in front of you. So bleh. Failsafe, like I say, I use the arm button as my failsafe now. Head adjust, I don't know that one. Beeper, if you lose your quad, you want a beeper, which my beeper is set to the motors, so I use that D-Shot beacon tone and aux 5. So I just spin it over there and it beeps at me. I like that. I like that a lot, actually. OSD disable, so whenever you have your OSD on in your headset, you can flip a switch, OSD goes away. Telemetry, same thing with the headset, you just click on and off. Black box, if you're recording or not. FPV angle mix. This ties in with that configuration button. So if you flip the switch, your quad will automatically coordinate your rolls based on your camera angle that you put in back in configuration. Yeah. Camera control is if you have camera control. It's normally run cam only, but I believe others are getting into the game now. Flip over after crash. This is turtle mode, so you click, you can spin your props and flip yourself over. Pre-arm, I normally recommend a pre-arm if you're using a quad that you may or may not trust. Basically, you click one switch, then you click another, and that means you don't have any accidental arming, which means accidental cutting your arm off. VTX pit mode, that's low power VTX. Paralyze, I don't know what paralyze is. Maybe that's if you want to not go anywhere. We'll go with that. Acro trainer, that will limit out, that's at 20 degrees. Your quad will not go more than 20 degrees in any direction. Or whatever you set it. And you set it way back here with your, this is your cam. Where's your Acro Limit? Acro Limit is in PID tuning. and that's this Acro Trainer Angle Limit. That ties down to your mode. So if you have someone who's training to fly, you can set that to 30, 35, 40. Anything higher than that, and you're past the training stage because you're going really fast. And then you flip that switch, Acro Trainer. So adjustments, this is if you want to change your stuff, you have to set this up. Basically you have a channel and then another channel, and you can adjust your rates and everything. This became, I don't want to say it's useless, but much less used with OSD. Much less used with OSD, so I don't bother with it anymore. Servos, that's servos. Motors, you will want to come here and plug a battery in and spin your motors up to make sure they're spinning in the right direction. What you want to do before this 1000% is make sure you don't have props on, because if you do what I just did with a battery in and props on, you're going to have a bad day. A very bad day. Very, very, very bad day. And also, if this tab does not work as expected, like if you do motor 1 and nothing happens, and you do motor 2 and motor 1 spins up or something stupid and you don't know why, make sure you flash the right target to your flight controller. I found out today, if you flash the wrong target, you'll jack it up, and your ESC, you think your ESC is dead when really it's not. Yeah, I'll fly up and pop you right in the face. Fortunately, I normally hold on to my quad, and a 5-inch is a lot stronger than you think. Because you think you're holding it, man. Yeah. Just take the props off. But yeah, if you get some weird action, like if you do 4 and either nothing happens or the wrong motor spins up. If you do master, all of them will spin up. But if something weird happens and they don't behave as expected, if they spin in the wrong direction, you'll have to do BL Heli. You're still using BL Heli suite to make sure your motor's turning the right direction. And you have to make sure your props are either going in or out, depending on how this is set. And you have to make sure your ESC is wired up. For the Tiro, all that's fine. It's pretty easy, because it comes default pretty well made. OSD, this is the standard 3.5 OSD. You don't get profiles, by the way. So it's only one profile. So I do miss that from Betaflight 4. So I'm hoping they add in 2 and 3 profiles, because I like having the extra profiles. But it's not really that big of a deal. It's not a game changer that much. It's more of just an appreciation. If your flight controller has a barometer, you can do altitude, angle, pitch roll. Anti-gravity just flashes a little button when the anti-grav is enabled. So if you do punch outs or something, you'll see a little AG flash. Artificial horizon, that's that stupid line to tell you if you're straight or not. And I say it's stupid, I don't like it. But if you're doing some stuff with a camera on top, sometimes you might actually think you're straight and you're not. So it's very useful. Same thing with horizon sidebars. Just tells you if you're right or not right. Battery cell, I use average voltage, and that way I can tell where 1 is and I don't have to do any math. Current draw, that'll tell you how many amps, but with the Tiro, I can't figure out the thing. Okay, hold up. Got a question here. If the quad is running Betaflight, do you have to flash this new thing on the flight controller? Yes. So if you do have a Betaflight quad, when you plug in to Emuflight, the configurator, it will tell you this is only for Emuflight, please flash the thing. So it will take you to the CLI command line, and you just type BL for bootloader, and that will pop you into update firmware, and then you can do release candidate. then it's just like Betaflight. So it's release, if you want to do the official ones, and you pick your flight controller board, which they have tons, so hopefully it's yours, and they only have one. So yeah, they don't have, oh wow. They were nice enough, that's amazing. So I learned something new just now. I thought they were nice enough that they might be trying to loaded builds information from Betaflight. Okay. Well, I thought they loaded Betaflight for you so they would flash Betaflight back on if you didn't like Emuflight. So no. So yeah, if you have Betaflight, you do have to flash it. I always recommend, and I should have started this video with that, always back up your Betaflight configuration in case you hate it, because it's very easy to hate it. Motor order, yeah. So when it installs, you get all these little things. Let me go up. So I always have a folder of Betaflight backups where I do I always make a video of it. In case I have to go back, I always run through every screen, so I have a video of my Betaflight config. That's actually what told me I needed a Maytech 411. And I also do a dump of everything. So, all mine run Betaflight 2. So if you did plug in, it will just take you to this screen basically, and you flash like any other. So going back in, I'm back in OSD. These are what I use. Basically RSSI, that one will tell me my connection strength, throttle position, timer. Timer 2 is your actual flight time, so that's a little bit more useful than timer 1. And they actually have a remaining time estimate, which I think is pretty cool. But yes, dump all is a command. Yes. Hey, Night Train, good to see you. Good to see you. Dump all will give you the very, very, very long every single setting. Yeah, every single one. It's a long one. So I normally do diff all if I know I'm flashing the exact same version of Betaflight back on. I don't do a diff all if I'm going from like 356 to 357 or 41 to 41 RC or anything like that. So yeah, warnings. Get your normal stuff. This is just like Betaflight. And CLI is also like Betaflight. And they actually did auto get all. I don't know if this is a Tiro thing or if this is a bug, but if you type get all, it only gives you a few things. And if you type get, it gives you everything. So, yeah. Dump all for new GUI. Yes. So if you do dump all, you get every single setting, every one, and it saves it as a config file. So you can actually save that to a file. Ah, boy. And it tells you MUF, CLI. I like to put in which quad, so I'm doing Tiro 69. And that gives me my Emuflight Tiro 69, which tells me I have interesting. It doesn't tell me which Emuflight version, so it just starts off with get small angle. So if you're a developer out there, I normally like to have the version up here as well. Or is that in... That's dump all. Huh. Because like on the dump all for Betaflight, you end up with the type, and that's very helpful. Version. I just do get. Oh, I saved the whole thing. No wonder. I'm wrong. Thought that looked weird. I'm sorry. This is the benefits of doing this live. You see what type of stuff I go through here. Because I forget. Beacon, D-shot mode. We're going to cancel this. We're going to do this again. Clear output history. Dump all. Who runs it? It's just new developers. Since it's freeware, yeah, that's fun. And they do. All right, so developers, thank you. You did think of what I needed. So we're going to save this to file. Overwrite my Emuflight file. Let's see what we got here. Ah, no. We don't do hex. See, I tried this before as a hex whenever Emuflight was, you still had to download each one. Didn't work out as well. So yeah, here's my dumping all. Alright, so we have Maytag 411, your beta version 0.1, board name, signature, I have no names, and then it just goes through every freaking setting. Which is nice. Ah, boy. Crash recovery. That work? Smart feed is off. iTerm relax is off, which you don't need as much in Emuflight. Angle, decay. So yeah, just looking through. What I need, I want to see if set runaway takeoff prevention equals on. That is in Betaflight. There is no runaway takeoff prevention in Emuflight. So if you don't know what that is, if you put a prop on wrong, or if you have your motor direction set incorrectly, or if your orientation of your flight controller is set incorrectly, runaway will make it only kick off after half a second. Your props will spin up, it will fly wildly out of control, and if you have takeoff protection, takeoff prevention, it will shut down immediately, and if you don't, it will just fly to the moon. So the to the moon problem can present itself on Emuflight, not as much on Betaflight as long as runaway takeoff protection is on. Emuflight doesn't appear to have that function, and that's kind of disappointing because it's been out forever. Get run. Do they have it? Ah, they have it. So if you are flashing and you stick around this long, we're going to set runaway takeoff prevention equals on and save that. We're also going to do get runaway deactivate delay. You want it to be 500 milliseconds. That's half a second. That's enough for the quad to get up a little bit. But I'm putting this as a main point here. I'm actually going to put this in the thing. When you flash Emuflight, set runaway takeoff prevention equals on. Make sure you do that command, because otherwise, if your quad is ever in a position where it will fly to the moon, this will prevent that. If you're a developer of Emuflight, please enable that as default. Please. Like I say, today I totally missed, and it's my fault because I didn't set my props to be reversed. Totally my fault, but I really need that. Throttle present. Yeah, so at 25%, it just shuts down. but that was not set to on. So this is the thing with beta software. So if you're a developer, please set runaway prevention to on. Please. And if you're flashing this and you're new, please set runaway prevention to on. Do they have crash recovery? That's another one. Get crash or yaw spin. Crash limit yaw. That's a good one. Yaw spin recovery. That's another one. So it's on, and that one I can prove is on because I hit a tree and went spinning and then flew right out of it. So that part's good. I like that. Okay, and if you use iBus, the other thing you want to do. So the commands, if you're joining in again, sorry. I know I ramble sometimes. If you are flashing this, the commands you want, once you flash everything, if you're using iBus, you want to set RSSI invert equals on if you're using iBus, and that will make your RSSI and your OSD look correct. Otherwise, it'll say like 10 or 20 and it looks low. Invert makes that 80 to 90, which is high, which is a little bit easier to understand. The other thing you want to do is set runaway, and you want to set runaway takeoff prevention equals on. You want to save it. Okay, then you want to go back and make sure it's there, because I don't think it's saved. Runaway takeoff prevention on. If you're a developer, once again, this is my request, and I'll put it in Discord. Turn this on, period. There is no reason that should not be on. Unless there's something in the software that saves a lot of pants from turning brown, okay? Because if you have a 5-inch quad that does a runaway, you're going to shit yourself. Like, you just are. I mean, like, it's going to come out. Like, it's bad. So make sure that's on, please. Please. So set runaway takeoff prevention on. I'm harping on that a lot, I know. But trust me, you want to do it. And yeah, so, and make sure, yeah, that's about it, actually. That, and if you have iBus, you want to set your RSSI, or it is set RSSI. Yeah, you want to set your RSSI. All right. So that's a small bug we just ran into. The autocomplete sometimes doesn't load. But if you have an iBus, you want to set RSSI invert equals on. If you ever need to know what a command is, do get, type a letter, hit enter, and it'll get you anything with that letter. So if you know kind of what it is, like get runaway. See, it was popping up, but I believe I reloaded it too fast, and now it's not popping up with all of your options. But if you do get runaway, it'll take you all 3 runaway values. Just a trick for it. It says press tab for autocomplete. That works sometimes, but I've been in and out enough that if it doesn't work, that's okay. Anyway, I'm going to disconnect here, and yeah. I normally like to just walk through my settings one more time just to make sure. I'm at UART 2. I don't have VTX, TBS Unify, or Tramp, or Runcam Protocol, or LiDAR, or any of that. That's okay. I'm using D-Shot, 5% idle motor, reversed props, 8K, 4K, accelerometer. I'm mainly checking to make sure all my settings saved. RSSI, iBus, soft serial, blah, blah, blah. All right, we're good there. RX loss power battery should be 3334. That's good. Failsafe is 4 milliseconds. Or I'm sorry, 4, not milliseconds, 0.4 seconds. PID tuning, these are stock. and I like them. I have Emu Boost at 50 with the limit at 30. Does limit go to 250? Yeah, I thought. Okay. That will give you a little bit twitchier feel. Filter settings, these are stock and not too bad. Filter smoothing, good. Modes, I am set. Adjustments, servos, motors, I would double check, but I don't have a battery and right now my props are on. And my OSD works and sensors are good. Unless you pull your USB cable out. I'm talking a lot. Holy cow. Can't see my USB cable. Enable expert. And sensors are... They were good. My sensors aren't working. I don't know if that's a thing or not. Does this work? Okay, yeah. It works. Okay. I don't have sensor. Oh, there it is. Okay, yeah, just reload. So just make sure your sensors are working. You have an accelerometer, which I do. Tell you how many G's you're pulling. Turn off your gyroscope. You just get an accelerometer. I am steady as a surgeon. This is my steady. This is my not. So steady. Not too bad. I don't have a magnetometer. I don't have a barometer, sonar, debug. Might have debug. And from that, I'm disconnecting. All my settings are saved. We are golden here. I'll pop over. I wish to show you. Where's my first flight? This was my first. And did it pop up? One of the things that I found funny with this, yeah. So this is Emuflight, but they use the Betaflight freaking logo. So it's Betaflight version 0.1.0. So that's funny. This is actually Emuflight, and I recorded the OSD, but I wanted to see how it flew. And out of the gate was like, huh, this isn't so bad. Yeah. So I ended up trying for some prop wash. I didn't get any there. I was surprised by that. Got a little there. Not much. I finally got to figure out what would cause it. But as far as tracking, iTerm, it was really good. Really, really good. I was surprised. Didn't get any prop wash on that. The jiggles you get, I have some top end oscillations, and that was actually due to the 4-blade props I have. One thing I do not like about this version of Emuflight, this is a toothpick. It's all up weight of about 75 grams. It's the Tiro 69 toothpick, and I like it. I like it a lot, especially for $70. Like, it was pretty good. And one of the reasons you'll notice the flying gets a lot more erratic, and I'm mainly trying to get some prop wash to see. And I'm also trying out that Emu Boost, and basically the faster you flick your sticks, the faster it goes. But if you notice there was no bounce back. That was actually me on the freaking stick. But I could not flip fast. I couldn't do anything to get a bounce back. I was impressed. Oh, cool. Yeah, RD, I love mine. At first I thought it was okay, and the more I fly it, the more I just like it. And I haven't broken anything yet. I've wrecked a few hundred times. Nothing's broken. It works really well. Really, really well. So the Tiro, I do recommend. So these I'm flying with, there it goes, yeah. See, like no freaking bounce, no nothing, it just worked. This was right out of the gate with the settings that I just showed. I'm trying to make it do something weird. It just It tracked well. It was fast. I liked it. Yeah, there's no coupon for the T-Row yet, so hopefully there will be soon. The only thing I don't like with this version of Betaflight is that it's the old style voltage, so it only updates every now and then. It's like every 5 seconds or so, and it only does in increments of 0.05 volts. I like the real-time voltage readout of Betaflight 3.6, 3.5, 3.6. I like that better than I do this, but this is good. As far as it flies, that was one bit of prop wash. Very strange. But yeah, the PIDs, the motors came down. They were barely warm, but most of that's from the 25-35 props, and it's only 88 today, I think. 89, something like that. A little bit. And I did not get as much flight time as I have been with Betaflight 4. Almost ran into a tree there. So yeah, I was impressed. This was first flight. I was taking it easy. A little bit easy. Did my normal upside down landing because that's how you should land. This is the is this? Nope. Nope. This. So this is the OSD. When you get into it, it will oh wait. Nope. Did I not get my OSD? I didn't record the OSD? Ah, here it is. This is OSD. So you do have feathered, which feathers your PIDs apparently, and it's your boost and limit and whatnot, but it will feather them so that they're not as abrupt. And so I ended up turning that on. So the first flight they weren't. My Emu Boost is 50. Come on, pause. And then 30. PID is exactly as stock. I don't think I changed these. Yeah, no. IDK, I did bump that up a little bit, but that didn't make any difference. So, feed forward 0. That's your strength. Yeah, no, that's useless. Rate profile, save and exit. Yep, min throttle, blah blah blah. Yep. So OSD works as normal. There's your Kalman settings and your filters. It's in there under filter GLB. That will get you to your filter settings, your gyro low pass, your Kalman Q, Kalman W. Yeah. Gyro low pass. And I just find it funny. It still says Betaflight. Except now it just says flight. I can't even see beta. Yep. So, good stuff. This was the yeah, still says Betaflight. That's just funny. This is a little bit once I got used to just how twitchy it was. Started getting a little bit more custom. And that was fine. This is still on the 25-35 props, and then I got tired of those because you don't have a top end. Because they end up shuddering a bit. So this is the last flight, which was with bi-blades. And the twitchy, if you do twitch rolls, the Emu Boost makes that obscenely fast. Like that roll is 1 frame instead of the normal 2. So it's kind of surprising. Also, that was believe it or not, a roll. Just surprising at how it's good that was an actual 2 rolls. Yeah. So I'm just trying to see if I can get bounce back or anything with the PID tune, anything really. It's just golly. That is motion sickness for me. Holy cow. Yeah. I think I ran into the tree at one point. Hey, I missed the mailbox. Woo! Oh, I think that was a roll. Yep, it was. Okay. Also, this on the Tiro, one thing I don't like with the camera, it records at 25 frames instead of 30. So it seems weird. And I actually have a fix for that if you're still watching in the future. DaVinci Resolve has a motion blur effect, and it is amazing. It's free. The whole program is free, and it's way too good. It's so much better than Premiere. I won't say it's better. It's just different, and I like it better than I thought I would. Holy cow! Yeah, I like the Emuflight. I'm digging it. Holy cow! I forgot I look like a drunk squirrel, like a squirrel on methamphetamines. I mean, that's some. I'm not even that good of a flying person. Holy cow! Yeah, so I have to say, Emuflight, I'm glad I tried it. I will probably spend about an hour tuning it and get a better feel, better setup for it. The only thing I didn't like at my top end was a little weird, but that was only on the 25-35 props. And I just noticed my G meter doesn't work. Dude, bleh. I like my G meter. I don't care. Holy cow. More. Whoa. Almost hit the tree. Okay. Upside down. That's not what I normally do. But okay. I swear I think I'm a meth squirrel. Oh, I like the spinny tree. That's what it is. Like, I will say, if you're not used to biblades, they don't, you don't turn the same. I was not. I got used to the quad blades, and they're a lot tighter. Oh, I got some bounce there. Also, this one, I can't tell if it's really as much prop wash or if it's my camera bouncing around, because it's that TPU mount and it's not great. So yeah, if you're just joining, say hi. I see a few people in here. I can't tell who. Holy cow, what'd I do? I never run it at myself. That's crazy. Yeah, this is Emuflight, me trying my best to make it do some weird stuff that I wasn't expecting. But it just flew really good. Like, holy cow, I love it. A lot. And so I actually did something that was Emuflight, and I call it my squirrel on meth flying. And I tried that on Betaflight with the Larva X. And I was trying, and no matter what you do in Betaflight, I don't know if the feed forward's different, but it, yeah, that happens. It's not as locked. So I was really shocked by how different it feels in Betaflight. I use the same rates, but there I'm getting some prop wash. This is the Betaflight version of that type of flying. Normally it's just RAM. There's prop wash again. I was trying to fly them back to back to see if I could tell a difference, and the main thing was stick feel, and the other part of it, it's a different quad. Obviously, it's a 1103 motors versus 1104. They're the same weights, but this has better props, and yeah, I don't think I realized how much prop wash I was getting with it. Yeah, like there, yeah, there. So yeah, as far as I don't know, I haven't spent that much. This is out of the box for the Larva X. I didn't change any of the Betaflight settings. It's 4.1. And I have to say, this is a fun quad to fly. I love it. For 99, my favorite part on this quad is the Diamond VTX. And some people have had some trouble with them, but it's 200 milliwatts up to, like mine is set to 500 on TBS, but it's really 200. and it's clean, and it has an onboard DVR. So this is onboard DVR. Thanks, Astro, for showing me Emuflight. I never knew this existed. So I wasn't a Butterflight fan, and then see this come up, I'm impressed. I like it. Thanks for hanging in. But yeah, as far as oh wow, as far as the Larva X, I think my favorite part on it, other than the fact it flies really well out of the box. Like this is stock settings out of the box. It came with the props on, and that Diamond VTX, it's just really good. It's got a good DVR on it. I really like it. Really, really like it. I also did something I have not done in a while, and flew in the backyard. Except that I crashed in the backyard, and I crashed again, and I crashed again, and I crashed again. Yeah, this is backyard run. This is on Betaflight, not Emuflight, but it's Betaflight 4.1. In the backyard. This is also sundown, so if you have a Runcam Nano, Runcam Nano in low light is really good. The sun's behind the houses out to the right there, to the left there. It's way behind the houses, and it is dark. Not really dark as much. Holy cow. Ran into a tree. All these wrecks, 0 damage. Even to the plastic canopy. Yeah, straight into plastic. I was trying to channel my inner Nick Burns. Do the little fly over the house thing, or over the porch at least, and yeah. So this is why I don't fly my backyard very much. Too many trees right in a very small confined area. It's a lot of fun. But this is Betaflight version, and a lot more up tilt. Oh, yeah. Just easy to fly. Holy cow. Alright. So that's Emuflight. And as far as how it feels different from Betaflight, mostly it's that Emu Boost, and just your sticks feel so much different. So if you do a lot of the flickety flick maneuvers, it will make them more flickety flickety. It's a technical term. That was a test of the eye term. That thing is straight. Holy cow. Yeah. But yeah, it's if you like the little flickety fast moving stuff, Emuflight, I'm impressed. I gotta give credit. It also brought my motors down cooler than Betaflight, even though it sounded a little bit different. So I don't have any sound recordings, but it sounded noisier, but it wasn't. So I don't know. I'd have to hear a race 1 to see if it sounded like that. Or flight 1, not race 1. One thing that impressed me with this quad's, it gets a good bit of prop wash, but the motors, and it has heavy props. It's got it's a HQ 25 props, 2535, something like that. But they're really thick tri-blades, and the motors come down perfectly cold on 1103s. And I wasn't exactly being nice to them. Oh. Can't believe I hit my tree. What did I hit? Oh, I hit that fig bush. Okay. Hit my fig bush. I'm trying not to hit my dog over there to the left. She doesn't care about anything. Like, she is just, okay, you're gonna fly around me, I see. Alright, it's a bug. Not a feature. Oh, splat. See, that's where Throttle Boost becomes useful. That's me about to run straight into a tree. You didn't catch that. Alright, let's aim for the tree. Oh, nope, let's not. Oh, yep, nope, splat. Not my worst wreck, not my last. Alright. Well, anyway, I have got to get it up. It is 10 o'clock Eastern, so time for my dogs to go downstairs. Thanks for hanging out. For those who hung out, if you've tried Emuflight, let me know down below if you like it. If you have better settings for it, or if you have better tuning settings, let me know. If you haven't tried it, I recommend you try it, but do it on a quad you're not... It's beta software, so do it on one that you're not 100% attached to, and you'll probably like it. Like, default out of the box, I was impressed. So it's very good. I did want to mention, don't forget to click the gears up here, and you want to permanently enable expert, show notifications, reopen last tab, and you want advanced CLI autocomplete. I don't care for opting... Oh, I want them to collect statistics, and I don't really like the dark theme. It's okay, but it's dark. I do like it if I wasn't on live stream and I need the light for my camera. So I do actually like dark theme. But don't forget, click the gears, select what you want. I do like auto connect. And welcome to Emuflight if you've tried it. If you haven't tried it, it's in beta. It's still beta, but it's a very, very flyable beta. I ran into no issues. That does not mean that you won't run into issues. So that's only a one flight controller on one quadcopter. I will be flashing it to another after I figure out some of the more advanced settings on it. And we'll see how it works there. But other than that, I want to thank you very much. Thanks for hanging in there. Thanks for coming by. Let me know if there's something else you want to see. And if you get a chance, DaVinci Resolve, it loads. It's a free program. There's a free DaVinci Resolve. It has 90% of the features you need. I think mine crashed. It is a full-fledged Premiere replacement. Has better color grading. It was designed for color grading, and then they realized they pretty much had a winner. But what they have for me, if I can get it to load... Very annoying that it won't load right now. Come on, load. Load. I wanted to show one last thing. Control surfaces. This is DaVinci Studio. I have the full version, but the free version has about 90% of the features. I'm going to be doing more on DaVinci if you are into editing, because I like it. And one thing I noticed for FPV pilots is that it has this really cool, oops, I forgot to put my ND filter on mode is what I call it. So let's see here. I don't know why it's still in media offline. Did it not save anything? Might not have. Did it? Did, okay. Go back. So it has this really cool feature. If I can find it. Alright, my dogs are almost about to kill me. Oh boy. Of course it's not going to load right now. Why would it? But you can add motion control, and I don't know if you can tell there's blurring right there. But in the color tab, there's motion blur, and if you set it to about 30%, it looks like you added an ND filter. And you end up with a very much smoother looking flight. Can I do this full screen? That's a little bit better. But yeah, it'll add a tiny bit of motion blur. It will add a lot if you want. So if you want like blur, it adds it as if you had an ND filter on. But around something subtle. So if you're in broad daylight and you add like 25% motion, it will just smooth out your flight footage. And I don't know if this is coming across in the live stream as good as it looks on normal, but this was after sunset. I think there was a glimpse of the sun over there. And that DVR with a lot more saturation, because I did saturation boost. I don't like it, but the motion blur is what I was wanting to say. If you get a chance, try DaVinci. And it's in color. It's a lot different from Premiere, but it's very smooth, works really well. If you don't want to buy Premiere, or if you don't want to use one of the free video editors, I'm learning it. It's great. I give a high recommendation, especially since it's free. If I mentioned it's free, and it has, and that's all in the free version, so it's pretty amazing. Anyway, I'm going to be doing more on that because it's really good for FPV editing. And yeah, other than that, thanks so much for hanging in. I'm going to go ahead and end it here. Thank you again. Thank you. Drop a comment if you want to see more Emuflight or anything else like that. Don't forget, like and subscribe. Do all that good stuff. Support each other's channels. Do all that good stuff. I think everyone who joined me, I do know. So I appreciate you joining as always. That was a lot of talking. Holy gracious. Anyway, y'all take care. Thanks again. We'll talk to you later.